Hello, Erasure.
Hello.
Hello.
Vince and Andy are here. Just a few months after the festive release of Snow Globe, you're back. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So you must be in work mode because it's not long since the last one.
Well, we are pretty much.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We didn't do a lot of promotion or a lot of work around. I mean, after the making of the last record, the Christmas record,
Sure.
anyway. So this is really our first big spell of promotion and talking about what we've done in the studio. So it's not old yet.
And I'm delighted because, not that I'm disappointed, but normally I get just to talk to Andy when I do these interviews. But Vince has turned up.
You, Vince.
Vince has turned up this time. Wow, imagine.
No, that's not true. I just do. There's thousands and thousands of interviews I do in the States that he never hears about.
Oh, that's what happens, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I must have got that all wrong. I'm sorry. Well, congratulations on the new album, which I think you've done a great job on the Violet Flame. Where does that name come from? When I Google it, I get stuff about an alchemist's dream and self-transformation and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Well, it came from that really, and I was just thinking of. We were just trying to think of a title, and then all of a sudden that just sprang into my mind. So I just said, "Oh, how about that?" And it just seemed to suit the feel of this record, really.
Did you try to write a song with that title?
Well, we did. There's one of the songs on there called Paradise.
Yes.
And the key and the phrase is "make your own paradise." And I tried to put in "make your own violet flame," but it just didn't sound the same.
Oh,
so
okay.
we kept it as Paradise.
The song I'm loving is, well, I'm loving a lot of them, but the opening track, the Dead of Night track, I have a 9-year-old daughter
Right.
who is loving that song. She thinks you should release it for Halloween. She's even made up a dance.
That's not a
You
bad
know,
idea.
I think it
actually.
Great. Yeah.
I think it might even work. What shall I tell her?
Well, if you can do the video, we can get the
What you should tell her
rights
is
for her to put the video up.
what you should tell her is we're actually doing a Halloween show in Las Vegas. So perhaps you should tell her that you've bought her a ticket
Get there. I'll buy her a ticket.
for a
get
Las
her
Vegas
along.
show. Yeah.
She can stand in the crowd doing the...
Yeah, you do the airfare. We'll do the tickets.
Are you telling me Dead of Night will be on the set list? I mean...
That's a
Can-
good, well, it might be for possibly
Halloween, that's a good
for Halloween.
idea.
It's a really good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to your daughter.
I read a different approach to songwriting this time. Normally you're in the studio, aren't you, with a keyboard or, piano or a guitar and see what happens. This time it was different. Tell us all about it.
Well, we just Andy's suggested that this time round that maybe I could come up with a few kind of vibes or loops or groove ideas, because we were both kind of listening a lot to more dance music anyway, and we wanted it to be more of a dance type record, I guess. So I got a few concepts and ideas together, and then played them to Andy. We were in Florida to write the songs, and we just played this stuff over and over again, and then Andy would, sing something along to it, and we would piece these bits of music together to make the songs.
So there's a point in that process where it becomes a song that kind of makes some sense.
It does. I mean, they're mostly entire, the songs, but sometimes, say with Richard this time, we will like swap around pieces from one song to another song and kind of make it
Wow.
so it fits. It's a bit like doing a big giant jigsaw puzzle, I suppose.
You would think
Yeah.
doing so that it would never ever make any sense, but when you listen to the record, that it does. So it's a clever system, but it obviously works.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think we've always worked like that. We've never been very very few times have we actually been able to actually write a song all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll come up with bits and good ideas, probably too many ideas, too many bits. So it's a case of working out, saying, "Oh, okay, that bit sounds pretty good. That'll work as a chorus, or that bit can be repeated. That works melodically," and then joining all the parts together.
So Richard X has done production this time around. I'm interested. What does he receive to work with? Is there an Erasure produced sort of finished version at some point that he then works with?
No, I think he goes hand in hand. I mean, Vince was working remotely and sending sounds and keyboard riffs to Richard, wasn't he? And they're just kind of building the tracks up as they went along. We had kind of basic, I suppose, demo versions of the songs.
Yep.
And they just kind of got embellished as we went along. And but he's quite methodical. But I mean, he loves and he's very disciplined. He's Sagittarius, and so I found it quite. But he, because he's so young, he's really enthusiastic, and I think he likes to kind of keep the integrity of the band as well. So it's quite a good mixture for us.
Elevation is the new song. Tell us a bit about the new single, please, and how that came about.
Well, that was kind of that's what happens more than often when you're writing a collection of songs. It was the last track.
Oh, really?
That we wrote, yeah, and we kind of like we wrote it on guitar, funnily enough, didn't we?
Yep, that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, and we had an inspiration, an idea for the song, and we just started singing, and as soon as we heard it, it was like, oh wow, that's really good. We just felt really excited about it, didn't we?
And did you have a feeling that it might be the first single when you got to that point? Is that how it works, or
No, I don't think so. Not until much later.
right?
It was. I think I remember on that tune because, as I said, we were working in Florida together writing, and I'd turn up to Andy's apartment. We'd work a little bit and then leave some stuff with him, and then I would get emails that evening with attachments
On the iPhone.
from his iPhone recordings of him singing something over the top of these melody parts.
Right.
So that in that instance, I remember there were like 2 or 3 bits. I thought, oh, that's really good. I mean, they were really working together. So then we get together the next day, piece them, put them together, and turn it into a
Do
song.
it properly.
Quite a different world to when you started out and the way you would write a song then. You needed to be in the same room, for example.
Well, we were. I mean,
Yeah.
we were. It was just that, in our off time, we'd
Right.
also be working
More
as
ideas
well.
would come up, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we'd get together the next day to turn them into songs.
And lyrically on that song and that whole album, I think you've done a great job. Andy, when the fate of many is guided by the hands of few, when you write a lyric like that, do you take yourself out for a meal or something to celebrate? That's good stuff.
I mean, that
isn't
was
it?
one that just stuck in there, and that was right from the demo, wasn't it, Vince? That line. And sometimes there are lines like that you just can't rewrite them because there's no better way of saying it.
Absolutely.
So they just stay there, and then you try and write the song around it. Although from Richard's approach, he was saying write the chorus first and then go backwards. And then I was saying to him, well, usually with lyrics, I don't concern myself about what it's about. Right. I just wait until the end and then see if I know what it's about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but what a great way to work.
Yeah.
But when you write something like that, you must feel the same when you write a riff. You must think, I'm good at this job. Maybe why I've lasted so long.
I have to say some of the riffs are amazing, Vince, on this song.
They are. Well done, Vince.
No, I mean, the intros are amazing, especially on Reason and stuff. It's really good.
Smoke and Mirrors, I was going to talk about that track, because it seems very deep. Andy,
Yeah.
Are we talking personal experience here? It reminded me a bit like of Storm in a Teacup.
Yeah, I suppose it is very similar to Storm in a Teacup, but it was kind of, I think it was a bit beating myself up on that song, and just making sure that the slate was clean for a new life, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it easier as the years go on with the songwriting to open up? Do you find?
No, I mean, it's really weird when you're writing as a duo. You kind of feel like, I mean, I love when you hear other people and they're so descriptive and they sound so deep, like Adele.
Yes.
Some of her songs, and I think like, oh, why can't I write something like that, or we can write something like that. But then at the same time, you think, well, you kind of have, but it's just a different style.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can. But I would love to write something that's you feel like it's just so deep and not necessarily being clever, but and with a twist on words.
I think that's a shift from the very early Erasure stuff. You could listen to one of the tracks
Right.
and know exactly what it was about.
Yeah.
Victim of Love, for example,
Right.
is about a victim of love. And later material, you can kind of interpret what you
Yeah.
think that might be about. That must be growing in the
Well,
world of songwriting. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do love that as well. That's what I kind of meant with Richard about the writing being surreal, because I like it to be about anybody, to be about the past or the present, or to be about you or your partner or
Right.
anything,
Right.
So it just depends on the listener, really.
Talk a bit about the technology on this record, Vince. Was it old school stuff or new stuff?
It was old school.
Right.
I've got this. My studio in Brooklyn, in New York now is finished and ready and working. So it was an opportunity for me to use all of that old gear again.
Wow.
So it's stuff I've collected over the last 30 years. And I was working with an assistant this time, a guy called Evan Sutton, and I said to him, when we started working, I said, okay, I want to make sure I use every single piece of equipment on this record, even because there's some stuff that I've had for years, but I've never used because it's too much of a bother to hook it up and connect it. But this time round, we made an effort to use all that old technology, and in that way, hopefully, you get a more of a kind of a kaleidoscope of sounds and textures because you're using different bits of old gear, and you're not using like soft synthesizers, which everybody else is doing.
Sure.
I was amazed. If you see the amount of stuff that Vince has, and the number of times that he's dismantled the whole studio and put it all back together again, that deserves an award on its own. Just that.
Like a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do that. Massive tours coming, nothing by halves, loads of dates. Does it take more of a toll on you these days?
I don't know. It's really strange with the tour. I mean, I'm really glad that we're going on the bus now in America, because before we used to fly and it would just wear you out. You'd think it was easier, but it's not.
Right.
Especially as how things have occurred.
Yeah.
And you kind of so now once the show's finished, you can like have a shower, crawl onto the bus, get in your bed, and then wake up and you're there in the next place. So it's not so hard. So, and also because I know the Erasure material so well, inside out and backwards. You kind of, apart from the new stuff, it's almost like you're singing it in your sleep. Not that you're sleeping on stage, but it's like a kind of a holiday, really. It's hard work,
Yeah.
but it really is like a pleasure. To me, that's kind of like my day job.
Do you say to the record company, we'll do some dates, and suddenly you've got 60 in the diary?
Well,
Do you have control over that?
A little
it does
bit.
snowball, doesn't it? It always manages to snowball.
Right, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, you're popular, that's why. So there you go. 30 years of songwriting, it's next year, isn't it? The big 30. Will anything be done? Are you keen on another one by then, or you'll still be marking this one?
Well, we haven't made any plans. I mean, it's all about next week. Next week we're doing promo, and the week after that, we're starting seriously thinking about the touring. So
Yeah.
we'll just see what happens.
Andy, we've got to mention your one-man show in Edinburgh, which, how's that gone? Torsten,
It was really good.
The Bareback Saint, just for people who don't know. You
Yeah.
enjoyed it? You got great reviews.
It was a really brilliant experience, and it took quite a lot of rehearsing and quite a lot of learning, because it was loads and loads of words.
I noticed that. The songs did seem to have a lot of lyrics.
But, I think that Barney is so talented, and he's a poet and a playwright, and really amazing, and I just feel like it was meant to be, the collaboration. And I just wanted to do the challenge, really, and just to do something else makes me appreciate Erasure as well, because it makes it feel like it's all new, and and the tours. As I say, I'm really looking forward to it, because it's almost my home.
Yeah.
Is being on tour.
Well, I was going to say, 16 albums, there must be an awful lot of lyrics in your mind after so long. I mean, remembering them all when you get on tour, but I suppose the classics are stuck there.
It's quite
forever.
weird. I mean, I did notice as well, even on Torsten, I was swapping around verses with not kind of on purpose, but because if you get one line wrong, you have to
carry on with
carry
that.
on. Yes, and that does happen with Erasure as well sometimes. But I noticed on our last show, I got a couple of things wrong on the songs, but yeah, I mean,
Nobody else
It's just
notices.
like it's just repeating and doing it over and over.
And Carfest #2 this weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go, but the crowd looked enormous at the first one. You enjoy yourselves?
Apparently
It was good. I mean, you were lucky not to go to the first one because it was
pouring
very, very
down with
rainy.
rain.
Oh, was it? Soaking
Yeah,
wet.
it was like the last time we played as well, and we did the Forest tour. It paid
I
down
was there,
every
in
day.
Sherwood. I was.
We
at
thought
Sherwood,
we thought we'd gone to hell, didn't we, Vince? Doing that tour.
Well, no, it wasn't that
Well,
bad.
not the tour.
I'm sure the audience felt that, but-
weather-wise.
Yeah. I
Weather-wise.
think the audience liked it. I can remember. Yeah. Right. Great talking to you. Thank you very much, Vince and Andy. Erasure.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
thanks.